Hi everyone, Lazy Fire here. Welcome back to the Hate the Player podcast. We've been away for a little while, just a little while. Three Toes, you're here.
I am here.
Arnold is not here though.
It's 2016.
2016 bitches, get ready. It's going to be a banner year for the Hate the Player podcast. You'll get to hear about such thrilling topics as playing Call of Duty games.
Oh God, really?
Really, I bought Black Ops 3.
Oh,
Not a bad game. Like I know that there's like that moment where you're like, you bought a fucking Call of Duty game, you fucking Philistine, in the year 2016. Why would you do a thing? Well, turns out that it was incredibly cheap that weekend, like sub $40. And so I'm like, well, I have more money than God, and like I don't care anymore. And so I clearly have let myself go in terms of video game playing. And I was like, you know what? It might be nice to have something I can just sit down, play a couple of games of it, and just be done. Because everything else I have is like Fallout 4 or it's Battlefield 4, where I'm playing these like really long experience games.
right.
Like even if you get into a short round of Battlefield, it's still going to take you 20, 30 minutes.
Oh yeah.
A short game of Call of Duty, you could probably just hit Shadow Play and record all 5 minutes of it. It's like it's a night and day difference, and so it made it a lot easier to justify the purchase. Like I'm gonna do this, and it's got two campaigns in it. So even if I don't like the multiplayer, it's got two campaigns plus zombies, which I don't touch. And one of the
Yeah.
campaigns is actually the normal campaign with zombies put into it.
Nice.
Yeah, so it's a lot of zombies. But the game itself, like the multiplayer, is I don't think you ever played Titanfall, right?
No. No.
Okay. Very similar to Titanfall in terms of like how you're meant to traverse the world and all this other stuff. Like you're a lot more mobile than you were in previous Call of Duty games. So you have a slide function and what they call a thrust jump, which is really a double jump. Really, you activate it by double tapping. I was gonna say the A button, but it's really the space bar. Because I'm playing it with the mouse and keyboard, which is another
Gotcha.
thing altogether. But you have that, you have wall running, and like you can combine all this stuff to like go from a thrust jump into a wall run and then jump off of it and get your thrust again. So you're like 50 feet in the air, and then right before you hit the ground, you thrust jump again, so you take no fall damage, and then you slide. Then you go through a door, and then you get shot by a guy waiting there. Like, it's inevitable. But you can do some really, really neat stuff with it and get around levels and just like what I think it's really cool about it is that you can completely betray people's expectations. Because the example I would really use for this is I got into a fight with a guy inside a like I was outside a room, he was inside a room, and when we both realized we were out of ammo because we were both using these really fast firing SMGs, he went to one side. I was kind of stuck out there, and I'm like, well, I've got to be offensive about this. So as soon as I was done reloading, I went and slid into the room and rotated my view so I'd be looking where he should have been. What he had done was, while I was back there, he had wall run over the door we were shooting through and was on the other side of the room. And I was like, this motherfucker is on the next level. Holy shit.
Jesus.
Like, I would never have thought to do that. Like, not in a million years. And it seems like the optimal way to play the game is to completely subvert somebody's expectations. Like, people will stand looking at doorways or at ledges. If you double jump over the ledge, they don't really know what to do, and they get kind of stuck looking where you were supposed to be instead of where you are. Like the little pixel sniping stuff that people used to do isn't as effective now.
Hmm.
It's still got a lot of the flaws a Call of Duty game has. Some of the maps are completely and utterly bullshit bad.
Well, yeah.
Others are really great, and some of the weapons are just clearly balanced towards a game that we are not playing. There's a weapon called the Gorgon. It's a two-shot kill LMG, and it shoots really, really slow. It's great for campaign because you're just like tearing things apart with it. It's like a one-shot kill weapon there, but in multiplayer, it's like either too slow to really function in the fights you're having, or it's too powerful at a distance and it's just knocking people apart. Like there are sniper rifles that don't kill in two shots, you know,
Yeah.
um, and they fire faster. But yeah, it's a pretty good game overall. Like I would actually recommend it to people, which is kind of like terrifying.
Holy shit, really?
I would, if Arnold came to me and said, "Is Call of Duty a good game?" I would tell him, "Yes, go buy it."
Mm.
It does run kind of poorly on a lot of people's machines, from what I've heard. I'm sitting pretty. Like it looks really nice. Although, okay, it looks nice for a Call of Duty game. However, those graphics would be completely fucking unacceptable if this was a game developed for the PC.
Right.
Like, gonna go right out there and say it. So, for example, in the first campaign mission, I thought I had some sort of graphic settings turned off or low because I was looking at it going, wait a minute, that dude is seriously 20 feet from me, and he was wearing a beret, and I was so confused as to what I was seeing because his beret went from round to hexagonal. Like, because he was so far away from me that they started just subtracting polygons from it. And I'm like, that's absolutely unacceptable. You can't have that in a PC game in 2016, well, 2015 when it was released, and expect people to be okay with it. Like, that's not how it works. But, yeah, otherwise, it's a really fun game. The campaign it's actually built around the idea that you may have up to 4 people playing campaign with you. Cause
Really?
yeah, it's built to do online co-op and split screen co-op on PC for the campaign. So you can do up to 4 people playing campaign, and so they never say like the character that you're with for most of the game. He doesn't say I'm cut off from the other person. Your actual name is player in the game. He says I'm cut off from the others. They never name your character, yeah. But it's a kind of neat game. Like there are some areas that are just they're not bullshit difficult like other Call of Duty games,
Right.
and they're definitely built for multiple people. But one of the things that bugs me is that the multiplayer takes a lot of advantage of the fact that they have all these traversal options, but they very clearly designed it so you'd be able to do them in certain areas. So it's kind of predictable. Like, oh, well, this is the area where you can wall run from one end of the map to the other. Just throw a mine on it and people will just get nailed by it. It's whatever, but it's still a fun game. It's still a Call of Duty title, so you get a lot of weapon customization and you get all these unlocks and you buy fabrication kits to unlock new things and you have your perks. It basically takes what Black Ops 2 did with the system, the whole pick 10 thing, and they kind of expand on it. It's like it works. I don't want to say that like it's a mind-blowing title, but it's exactly what I expected it to be. It's a fun arena shooter that still makes me want to crack my keyboard apart sometimes when we're having a bad game, because I've noticed that mics are basically non-existent in that, and there's not a lot of people playing it on Steam that I know, I should say. There's plenty of people playing. I've never had trouble finding a game.
Right.
But yeah, so that was my Black Ops 2 experience. Or 3 experience. Have you been playing anything?
Yeah. I mean, aside from still playing the Afterbirth expansion for Isaac, I picked up The Long Dark
Oh,
because
yeah.
it was 50% off.
Yeah, not a bad price.
No, yeah, $10, and it's like I'm enjoying it.
I just could not survive long enough to really enjoy it.
So, I've had, I think the farthest I've gotten is like 7 or 8 days.
Wow, I couldn't even make it a full day.
Really? What difficulty were you playing on?
Normal. I just could not figure out the mechanics.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe it's because I actually watched some Let's Plays on it first.
Yeah, I went into it blind.
Okay. And again, I don't know like what the most updated version is. Like they might have, I'm sure they probably changed some things since because you played it a while ago, didn't you?
Yeah, I played it about a year and a half ago.
Yeah, I'm sure there's some completely different stuff now. But I've really been enjoying it. I mean, it's a survival game, but it's just survival against the elements. With some crafting. But it's most of the crafting is for like middle to late game. Okay, so for anyone who doesn't know about the game, they're actually developing a story mode for it too.
Yeah, I remember they were talking about that, but it wasn't really available when I played.
Right,
it.
and it's still sandbox only. So there's story mode and sandbox mode. In sandbox mode, the only thing it tells you is that you were in a small plane and it crashed due to some geomagnetic storm in the northern Canadian wilderness, and that's pretty much it. You can now select. There's a couple of different difficulty levels, and I think 3 or 4 different areas that you can choose
Mm-hmm.
to start in, which get progressively harder the further you go into it.
Yeah.
So you're just in the middle of nowhere. It kind of randomly generates where you're going to start. You might, like, I've had some great starts where I literally start in a building, which is a huge plus, or you just start on the side of a mountain in the snow in the middle of a really bad blizzard,
Yeah.
and you die in 20 minutes of game time.
Yeah, that was my one.
Yeah. Well, now it's basically where you start. I think is kind of a big determining factor on how successful your playthrough is going to be for that time.
Mm-hmm.
So you wander around. You don't have a map. You have to kind of take note of where you find things. You come across cabins and small, fishing huts on a frozen lake, maybe a gas station, and you just have to start scavenging for supplies.
Yeah, I've usually found a cabin or something like that was okayish.
Yeah.
Like there was like a dead deer nearby that you could get some food off of.
Yeah, and the entire time you're having to keep your body heat up, keep your thirst in check, keep your hunger in check, keep your fatigue in check. So you have to rest every so often.
Mm-hmm.
Wolves will come after you if you run across them. You have very limited defenses unless you can find a rifle somewhere. But even then, bullets are incredibly rare. At most, I've had 8 bullets at any one time.
Yeah, and it's not always accurate when you shoot.
Right. I wait till the wolf is charging me and right up on me, and then just shoot him point blank in the head.
Yeah.
And then take him out. And so yeah, I started the successful playthrough I had for, I want to say it was 7 or 8 days that I managed to survive. I started right next to this little, I think the name of it was Coastal Village. Or coastal town sites, where it was 4 or 5 decent sized houses, not just cabins but houses, and a gas station.
Ooh.
And so pretty much all the tools I needed were there. I was slammed full of food. I had found on a wiki of where to go find a rifle, so I picked one of the houses and kind of said, okay, this is going to be my home base. Put all the food in the refrigerator, even though it's not functioning because there's no power.
Right.
And that's the other thing. You don't find any living people in the game. You come across frozen corpses from time to time.
Yeah, you're supposed to be out in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah, no one is apparently alive. You have no idea what's going on, if it's some kind of apocalypse scenario or if it's just one of those seasonal towns where everyone gets the fuck out of there as soon as the snow starts to come in because they can't survive.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it was hoarding food, had tons of medical supplies, tons of food, was killing wolves and skinning them because apparently super late game, if you skin enough wolves or any of the animals, there's different clothing you can make from their hides. And it's apparently clothing so good that you'll never get cold in the game almost.
Oh, damn. Because
the clothes you start out with are terrible. Your character gets cold really, really easily. So if you kill, God, I think it's 5 wolves and have their pelts, it'll take 25 in-game hours to craft a wolf coat.
Oh my god.
But even then, the pelts have to be cured, which means you have to leave them on the ground for 7 days in-game.
Yeah, no, not doing
so
that.
you pretty much already have to be really set up.
Yeah.
But what happened was I was set up really well. Was going around doing some exploring to where I'd be okay, today I'm gonna make it to this cabin. Leave my home base, make it to this cabin, see how the daylight is. Maybe camp there for a night. Got enough food to last 2 days and some medical supplies. I got fucking gang rushed by 3 wolves.
Oh.
And bled out, limping back to my my home base because I didn't have enough medical supplies.
Mm-hmm.
I only needed 1 more bandage to keep me from bleeding out.
Ooh.
Right at the door of my cabin, my guy passed out and died.
Oof.
Because you get screwed because the further your health goes down or the further any of your stats go down, the worse it gets. It starts snowballing.
Hmm.
So your fatigue stat determines how much you can carry. I think you start out you can carry 30 kilograms, which is a fucking lot. Um, as you get more tired, so let's say you've been scavenging around you build up to like 27, 28 kilograms in your pack. If you start getting more and more tired, the upper limit of what you can carry can start going down. So even though initially you weren't overburdened, after a while you're going to be incredibly overburdened if you let your fatigue get all the way down.
Hmm.
And it just gets you just get slower and slower. You try and run, but you just get slower and slower because that makes it even worse. So as I was bleeding out, like I just kept getting slower. Your vision gets all blurry and shit starts shaking around. You're all disoriented, and you really get screwed really fast in that game.
Oh yeah.
But and that was incredibly frustrating because I was almost at the point of like I could survive, indefinitely in the game because of how much food I had and the means to get more food. Um, able to make fires real easily. I found like a fire striker, like a striking stone or something,
Hmm.
and so that was real frustrating. I haven't really played it since, but because that was the other day. But I haven't really had much time. But it was definitely one of those games where after I got screwed that hard, I was like, well, shit, I don't even want to play anymore.
Yeah.
But I do. I mean, it's just really frustrating.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing about that game that got me really quickly is like there's definitely a reward structure to a lot of those open world games. Like you go from in Minecraft, you dig up some stuff and you can build a shovel and
Right.
you can build a sword and you can actually take on enemies. Like so you have a reward for doing all this stuff. In the Long Dark, it's like you're going to learn by like trial and error and just you're going to have to fucking brute force some shit.
Yeah.
Like there is not an easy solution to building this thing. When you die, you lose all of your shit with no chance of getting it back, and you
Nope.
have to hope that you get lucky your second time around with your drops and the things you find when you
And
scavenge.
yeah, and remember where stuff is.
Yeah, and I think that's what got me was like, oh, this game is rigged so you can't really survive that long. Like I don't if I'm going to invest the time to like play this game and like the wait time for making water and all this other shit.
Oh God, yeah. Just melting snow takes like an hour of fire, and
Yeah,
even then you have to boil it, or else it's not safe to drink.
exactly. Like it's an entire structure that's just it goes and goes and goes.
Yeah.
And so it's like I know what it's trying to do. I understand what it's attempting to do. Where it's like, okay, we're going to build this entire thing, and you're going to have to survive this. It's monotonous and everything in a way, but you can skip most of the monotony, like chopping wood from a tree or something like that, which I didn't know I could do for the first two times I played. So I was relying on wood and shit that I found on the ground, and like,
Oh, and now you can break apart pretty much anything you see, like any furniture in a house, you can like dismantle and
yeah,
turn it into like reclaimed wood.
yep, yeah, you could do that. You could do that with cloth as well. You could do like
Oh yeah,
reclaimed cloth.
yeah.
Um, but yeah,
I mean, I
it's
would
just
I
like
would
that.
definitely try it again and see how different it is. Like it could be completely different since you played it. I
Hmm.
mean that long ago, like they had to have had some substantial updates since then.
Yeah, yeah, I think it's probably hit some updates, and there's part of me that wants to reinstall it like every couple of weeks and just see what's going on, see if I'm any better at it or anything like that.
Well, and it's
Um,
really well done.
yeah, I can't
Like the
deny that.
controls are great. I mean, the artwork is it's. I mean, it doesn't look realistic, but it's got like a kind of a cool art style to it.
Yeah, I think it does a really good job of what it's trying to do. It's just that the I don't know. It's like those people who bought Dark Souls expecting like a third person hack and slash adventure game and then found out it was like this like purposefully difficult like I'm going to screw you over with things that you should now know to expect kind of game. Like
Right.
it's that sort of thing. And I was when I bought it I was definitely expecting a hack and slash, you know? Like I was expecting it to come in and just be like it's an open world game but you're in the cold and you have to survive. I was not expecting oh, by the way, there's like no ammo, and if you find a wolf, run like a motherfucker. Like
Yeah.
it's they're scary in that game, Because the second you see one, you're like, well, I could waste all three of the bullets I have trying to kill this thing, or I could like try to avoid it. But he's hanging out inside the house that I've deemed mine.
That's one thing I did not notice that I noticed on the Let's Plays I initially watched, that in some of the like bigger buildings that you come across there were wolves inside.
Hmm. Oh wow, I
I,
haven't
I
seen that.
I've yet I think it was like a dam, like a hydroelectric dam,
Hmm.
to where there was actually a wolf or a couple of wolves inside. I've yet to see like any wolves lately in at least the latest release that are like inside. So it seems like they did kind of tone it down a little. I've only come across one bear, and I ran like hell because
Yeah.
apparently even with headshots, they take like 2 or 3 headshots from the rifle to kill a
Wow.
bear.
Okay, yeah, that's kind of scary. And ugh, ugh, ugh,
It's
bears.
fun though. If you can find it on sale, I'd definitely tell people to pick it up. I'd be interested to see how the story mode goes.
Yeah, I think that'd be kind of neat. Because yeah, it's one of those things is different. Like one of the things about the game is that it is different in the way that it's structured. Like it has a very defined map. You're not going to really leave that area. You're not going to really get much more than what you find the first time through. So it seems
Yeah,
like it's a much more like you're going to play this for a couple days or like a couple weeks in game time at most before you're just going to be at the end game and there's nothing else you can do. There's nowhere for else to explore in a lot of ways.
right.
And I mean the map itself is pretty big. The one I played on uh, back when it was like I think it's still in like beta or something like that was really good sized. Like you'd basically lose all your strength walking from one end to the other, even if you
Oh
run
yeah,
some
and
food
well,
around.
and they all interconnect.
Mm,
Like, I mean, there's obviously like loading screens. They'll tell you like, do you wish to leave such and such area and enter, blah blah blah. But yeah, all the sites that you can start on kind of interconnect.
mm. Yeah, I didn't know that. That's kind of neat. I think when I was playing it, the highway map was still in like early development. It was
And
something you
see
could touch, but you couldn't really.
that that's the one I had the most success on, and it's supposed to be like the intermediate map.
Oh, yeah, I played on like I guess it's just like the map that was supposed to be the normal like Frozen
Yeah,
Hills map where there's like a
yeah,
cabin on a lake
yeah.
and a
Mystery
fire
Lake.
station or something
Yeah.
like a ranger
See,
station.
I think they made it to where they're deeming it intermediate because it has more like wolves, like more hostile wildlife.
Yeah,
But there's so many more buildings. Like it was so easy to find stuff.
yeah.
Like just food for days off the bat.
That's I think pretty good because on the one I played on, finding food was like a matter of finding something the wolves had already killed and moved on from. Like
Yeah.
there was, I found a cabin and a ranger station. Those are the only two buildings I found in the entire thing. But I didn't search a ton of area because like the 2 or 3 times I played it, there was this one spot that was like, kid you not, nothing but fucking wolves. And it was just like you'd look down and you go, "There's 3 wolves there. There's 2 more over there. There's another one after that." It's like I'm gonna just turn around and never come back. I don't think I have the ability to take these things out. But on that one, there's a gun in the ranger station with like I think 3 or 4 rounds in it. So I tried to snipe a wolf one time and it did nothing. And I'm like, well, maybe there's some sort of weird physics effect. So I aimed a little higher and it did nothing. And I'm like, I have 1 bullet left. I am screwed. Gonna go away now. And then it killed me because I didn't know it was charging me. But the game sounds so good. The the clothing system, how like having better clothing will actually let you survive longer. I think that's really nice.
Yeah.
Like just some of the details, some of the survival elements in that game are really really good. But it reminds me of this game someone was describing the other day called Dust, Dust, with periods between each one,
Hmm.
where to fire a weapon in the game, you had to like there were separate buttons for each action you would take for firing a gun. So like if you have to pull a bolt back, there's a button to pull the bolt back, and then there's another button to push it forward,
Oh
and then
God.
there's another button to ready a round to go into the tube magazine. Then there's another button to push it in, and then like So you have to reload. You're basically hitting three buttons to reload and chamber around,
Jesus.
or four buttons.
It's
And
like Dance Dance Revolution if it were a shooter.
yeah, that's close to it. So I was like, man, that is some bullshit. But there's someone out there. There's a niche out there that's like, this is exactly what I want to play. I want something that's ultra realistic, and that's what they get. Um, but the Long Dark is definitely, if you go into it thinking I'm going to play your average like survival game or open world like the Forest or something like that people were playing, it is
Yeah.
not the Forest. It's not the Forest. It's not 7 Days to Die. It is its own thing, though it does borrow elements of like crafting and all this other stuff from
Right.
those games, which I think it's to the benefit of the game that they didn't decide to go the easy route and just basically rip off Minecraft or the other survival titles.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Again, we'll see what the story looks like, but I mean, if you like, and obviously like a lot of it's really like it's a very scenic game. Like you can choose the easiest mode makes it to where wildlife won't attack you unless you attack them, and I'm pretty sure it makes it to where I don't know, at least the effects of like your hunger and thirst and your warmth and fatigue don't decrease nearly as fast. So if you want to walk around and just kind of look at the scenery, there's a game mode for that.
I might need that if I play again. I might just be bad at the game. So hey,
Yeah, I'm bad at lots of games, but I still play them.
that's the important thing is you try. That's the other thing about Black Ops 3 is that because the I was watching some people play it on the PS4, and because the controls in that game are such that your jump button, and you can do the thrust jump and all this other stuff, is still like the A button or the X button, and so you can look around while you jump, but it's on your right your look stick is still your right thumbstick. So I was watching this guy play, and I'm like, wow, he's like jumping around and looking at the same time. He's more like a PC player. So there's a thing called a bumper jumper controller configuration where you can jump and slide with your R1 L1 instead of having those throw grenades or whatever. And I thought that's what he was using at first, and then I realized he was using one of those Zims, the thing that turns your PlayStation, like you basically plug a mouse and keyboard into it, and it acts like a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One controller. So he's using that, and he's just like utterly dominating these people because they can't handle him jumping into the air and just shooting them from above him. Because if they try to jump as well, they're stuck looking in one direction while they make the jump. And I realized that's why it's a bit more difficult to play it on the PC, is because everyone has this like hypermobility along with the ability to look around while they jump and do all these other things, because their setup is such that their controller, the controls, the mouse and keyboard stuff, means that they have a lot more options in terms of how they set things up, and the look in the buttons to jump are not just like different buttons on in different areas of the controller, but they're different hands altogether. So you're not like
Yeah.
interfering with one with the other by overtaxing one, telling it like do this and this and this at the same time. Because like you have to, if with the bumper jumper configuration, you'd have to hold R1 to jump, hold L2 to aim, and hold R2 to shoot, while moving your thumb around to aim at the guy. Like that's a little bit much to ask of your hand at sometimes. So yeah, turns out the PC is a bit more difficult to learn on because, well, basically everyone has hypermobility and they will fucking dominate you given the second chance. But yeah, that was funny to me, anyways.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm very easily entertained by some of this stuff
Obviously.
because I bought a Call of Duty game. So you've been playing Binding of Isaac as well, right?
Yeah. Trying to do all the unlocks. Like apparently there's yet another hidden character
Oh,
called the Keeper. To where after you do greed mode,
Mhm.
there's like a greed donation machine,
Mhm.
and if you are, hate yourself enough to go through with it, if you donate 1,000 to it, you unlock the keeper.
Wow, that is a lot. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's something to do. I mean, it's another character. I mean, you start with like triple shot, use coins as health, but you can only ever have at most 2 coins.
Oh.
So it's another Lost-esque character.
Yeah.
To where you can regain health, but only up to two hit points. And yeah, no half hit points. Like each hit is a full point.
That's yeah. Well, still.
Yeah, I mean it's content.
Yeah, exactly. people want to have content, and I mean that's from what you said about it. There is a lot of content in the update, so
yeah.
Well, I mean,
but it's not bad by any means. I mean, I'm going through with it. I have like 250 donated to the greed machine.
Eventually, someday we're gonna get there.
Yeah.
Keep reaching for that rainbow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I really think I wanted to get it during the Steam sale this last week. I really did. I was like gonna pull the trigger on it, but I realized just how many fucking games I own already.
Yeah. But I mean, it's worth it. It's fun. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I'm still enjoying it. I still play it almost every day.
Yeah, that's pretty.
It's a good way to kill time. It's not like I'm sitting down for hours on end trying to get all the unlocks, but it's like, oh, I got an hour to kill. I can get a run or two in if things go well enough.
Yeah.
And I'm not above holding the R button to reload and get a good start. I don't give a shit. I'm not doing it for you two.
Yeah, exactly. That's the best way to look at it. Yeah, it's seriously like it's one of those things that every time I think about it, those are the roguelikes and stuff like that. That's really more of what I want to be playing over like a Fallout 4 or something like it. But at the same time, I get frustrated by the death in that because it's almost always like you get thrown into a bad room or you just make a misplay and then those add up as you start worrying about your health or something like that, and it's the end of it because of that.
Yeah.
And like in a way, it drives me nuts to know that it's almost always my fault for not being good enough. But I don't know, like somebody who goes to the gym for a week and is like, I didn't lose 20 pounds. What the hell? I just don't have the patience to continue getting better.
Yeah.
Yeah. So anything new? Anything else that you're looking forward to besides Clemson?
No, not really. Just nervous about the football game. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, I've been getting deep into the massive scam that is Star Citizen. Because
oh God, why?
No, I don't mean I'm into Star Citizen. I mean I'm watching the drama unfold around Star Citizen.
Oh, okay. Well,
as
yeah,
it falls apart at the seams.
That's
quite
understandable.
Literally.
Yeah.
Have you seen the Star Citizen thread in games?
Oh yeah.
Where the OP is by Derek Smart.
Oh yeah, I've seen it.
And did you see? I know that we want to wrap this up soon, but did you see the thing that happened to this kid that was trying to harass Derek Smart online?
No.
Yeah, so he was getting like insulted by this child, and he's like, "Son, you don't want to keep doing this because I am gonna fucking drop on you." And the kid's like, "Do it, I don't care." So Derek doxes the kid, just like hardcore, to the point where he goes, and this is the kid's name, and this is a picture of him and his friends, and somebody posts, "Which one is he?" And Derek's response is, "That's him, the one in the wheelchair," because there's a kid in a wheelchair had some sort of genetic abnormality that's like greatly reducing his like lifespan and quality of life. And Derek Smart is just outing this kid because he gave the kid fair warning, and the kid said, "I don't care." And apparently, he also told the kid's dad.
Yeah, what does he care? The kid's probably never going to live to see that game released.
Yeah. Well, Derek Smart doesn't work on it. He was trying to support the game, or Derek Smart hates that game and thinks it's a scam, I should say.
Yeah.
The kid was like, "No, you're wrong, Derek
Oh, I
Smart. You make
gotcha.
bad
Okay.
video games."
I
And
gotcha.
Derek Smart's reaction to that was, "No, this game's terrible. It's never going to come out. I
Yeah.
know this for sure." And yeah, so then that's him in the wheelchair. Is now, if you go into the thread, almost every page will have a reference to that's him, the one in the wheelchair,
Oh God.
because Derek Smart has no mercy.
Uh,
Even Lotax is in the thread, and he's like he has a temporary alliance with Derek Smart now, even though the reason Derek Smart's known on the forums is because of Lotax making fun of him. It's
yeah.
like we both understand that this is a massive fucking scam, and we can't allow it to continue.
Jeez.
But yeah, so next week, hopefully Arnold will be back. He said he's gonna go buy himself a mic. Should
There
be
we
good
go.
for us. And maybe we can ask him about Smite because that's all he ever plays.
Oh God.
Yeah,
All right.
we can also watch the guy I know who streams games play. Had we need to laugh at something terrible, he basically gives out his home information. It's great.
Oh God.
Yeah, it's terrifying.
Yeah. Let's get into that next week.
Yeah. So, short one this week, but good one, I think.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well,
Roll
3-2s.
Tigers.
Roll. Yeah. Go Tigers. Roll Tigers.
Yeah. Roll Tigers.
Yeah. That's what happens when the game the game just becomes a big gay orgy on the middle of the field, and from then on, it's like we're just one team from now on, guys. Roll Tigers. That's that may happen. You don't know yet. Anyways, thanks for watching, listening, whatever, everyone. We'll see you next time.